For 4 generations now, my family has lived on this land. The water I drank came from under this ground. The food I ate was grown in this soil. The oxygen that kept me alive was provided by these trees, this grass. I grew up with these hills as constant companions. They were always there in the background as we gardened, put up hay, had family reunions, celebrated life's joys and sorrows. No one ever took pictures of these hills as a specific subject. They were always just there, as they had been for millions of years. It wasn't until I was in my early 30s that I realized that wasn't something I could take for granted. My friend Larry Gibson found this out the hard way. In 1986, Massey Energy began building a mountaintop removal mine near his family home, a place the Gibsons had inhabited for 200 years. Over the next 25 years, Larry watched as the mountains surrounding him were blasted to rubble and pushed into the adjoining valleys, destroying the very landscape that had fed his eyes, stomach, lungs, and soul from childhood. Mountaintop removal mining is a cost-efficient method of mining coal that involves the following steps. Cutting all timber on a designated site. Often the timber is simply burned or pushed into the adjoining valley. Setting explosives into the mountain and blasting away everything covering up the coal seam. An estimated 3 million pounds of explosives are used daily in West Virginia alone for this purpose. Use of 2-story tall machines called drag lines to remove the blasted bits of mountain, now euphemistically called overburden. Disposal of this overburden in the adjoining valley, filling in waterways and burying everything under tons of rubble. An estimated 750 miles of stream have been buried in West Virginia alone. Removal of the exposed coal seams via dragline and truck. Reclamation of the site, often using non-native plants and grasses chosen specifically for their ability to grow in the rubble left behind. Larry Gibson has not gone quietly. He has been arrested. He's spoken out, written letters, joined protests, met celebrities, given interviews, and hosted countless groups of people on his property, which is now surrounded by a wasteland of bare rock and rubble. I visited Larry's home, Cayford Mountain, with my father, then 75, and 3 close friends. Together, we followed Larry up the path through the woods to the edge of the site. As far as I could see in the distance was a landscape that I can only compare to pictures I've seen of the faces of other planets, one devoid of any plant or animal life, water source, or discernible feature. It tore at my guts. It made my heart ache, and tears came to my eyes. As I watch my state being torn apart by the debate that rages around this practice, As neighbor once again turns against neighbor, I wonder. I wonder how we as a nation will confront the ever-expanding demand for energy. How will we as a state deal with the consequences of those decisions? What is the answer? As I look to the future, everything is uncertain. Everything except that sick feeling I got in my stomach as I looked at what they'd done to Cayford Mountain. The musician Steve Earle says, "You can't always believe your eyes. It's your heart that sees through all the lies." There has to be a better way. There just has